All right, so let's briefly talk about the past perfect tense in Spanish. So the past perfect is going to be a tense that we're going to use to describe actions in the past that occurred prior to other actions in the past. You're familiar with this concept because we've learned about the present perfect, right? We learned that we use forms of haber, has, a, hemos, han in the present tense plus a past participle in order to say an action that was done prior to the present moment that has an effect on the present moment. For example, he terminado mi tarea y llego a la clase. I have finished my homework and I arrive at the class, right? Now, he terminado, I have finished the homework, was done prior to coming to class. However, it has an impact on arriving to class and being fully prepared for class. So too, we do the same with the past perfect to describe actions in the past that precede other actions. Por ejemplo, había lavado todos los platos cuando mi primo me llamó por teléfono. I had washed all the dishes when my cousin called me on the telephone. Or, había terminado toda mi tarea cuando empecé a jugar videojuegos. I had finished all of my homework when I began to play video games, right? Now, the way that we're going to form the past tense, the past perfect, or the pluperfect is to use a form of haber, but in the imperfect tense. So instead of has, a, hemos, han, we're going to use había, habías, había, habíamos, and habían. Había is spelled H-A-B, I accented A, and you just add on your endings. Había, habías, había, habíamos, habían. Okay? And you use that, and you use the same exact past participles that you've already learned for the present perfect tense. So, for example, we have irregulars like he escrito una carta a mi abuela. I've written a letter to my grandmother. Or alguien ha roto todos los huevos. Somebody's broken all the eggs. We use the same exact irregular past participles as we used in the present perfect for the past perfect tense. Here we have some example sentences in your packet. Cuando llegué a la oficina, el gerente ya había leído mis cartas de recomendación. When I arrived at the office, the manager had already read my letters of recommendation. Después de la entrevista, after the interview, yo estaba muy nerviosa. I was very nervous porque la dueña de la compañía me había pedido referencias. I was very nervous because the owner of the company had asked me for references. Okay, and then we move on to paso uno. Here you're going to have to take the infinitive from the sentence and conjugate it using the past perfect tense. You do have a lot of vocab there, so I would encourage you to review it. Number one, for example, says, antes de ir a la agencia, before going to the agency, Jorge y Agustín llenar varias solicitudes de empleo. What it's trying to say there is Jorge and Agustín had filled out many job applications. So to say they had filled out many, we would say había llenado. Jorge y Agustín habían llenado, habían with an N, habían llenado varias solicitudes de empleo. Second, we have antes de llenar las solicitudes, before filling out the applications, Agustín ya escribir una lista de sus habilidades. It's trying to say that Agustín had already written a list of his skills. So we would use our past perfect, and remember, escribir has an irregular past participle, which is escrito. Agustín ya ha escrito una lista de sus habilidades. Number 3, el año pasado, durante varios meses, Jorge encargarse de cuidar niños. Last year, throughout many months, Jorge was in charge of taking care of children. So there, remember, that's a reflexive verb, encargarse, to make oneself in charge of. So we would have to say, se había encargado. Jorge se había encargado de cuidar niños. Number 4, estaban sorprendidos porque la recepcionista los atender muy rápido. They were surprised because the receptionist attended to them very quickly. We would say, había atendido. Remember, the subject there is not them. The subject is the receptionist. Estaban sorprendidos porque la recepcionista les había atendido muy rápido. Number 5, poco después de entrar a la oficina, el gerente les solicitar cartas. So the manager had requested letters from them, letters of recommendation. El gerente les había solicitado cartas de recomendación y les pedir referencias, trying to say, and ask them for references. Y les había pedido, P-E-D-I-D-O, les había pedido referencias. 6. En un momento durante la entrevista, in one moment during the interview, les preguntó qué salarios ellos tener. He asked them what salary they'd had. Les preguntó qué salarios ellos había tenido en sus otros trabajos that they had in their other jobs. Y finalmente el 7, cuando terminó la entrevista, when the interview finished, la recepcionista ya cumplir con su trabajo. It's trying to say the receptionist had fulfilled her job. So we're going to take cumplir and we're going to conjugate it as había cumplido. La recepcionista ya había cumplido con su trabajo. Okay, for paso two, what you're going to do here is you're going to do the same thing. You do have a lot of vocabulary, so I would review that. You are going to conjugate sentences or conjugate verbs within the sentences in that paragraph. The only difference here is you have two options for each sentence. For example, number 1, Andrés buscar or creer trabajo por mucho tiempo. So had he been looking for or believing in work for a long time? I would say he'd been looking for work for a long time. So I would say Andrés había buscado trabajo por mucho tiempo. Finalmente, destruir or conseguir un trabajo como mensajero en bicicleta. Finally, and would we say that he finally destroyed or that he finally got? I would say he finally got. So we would say finalmente había conseguido. And for conseguido, that is going to be C-O-N-S-E-G-I-D-O. So you're going to drop the U, conseguido. Finalmente había conseguido, drop the U, conseguido, un trabajo como mensajero en bicicleta en la compañía donde trabajaba su amigo Luis. Ayer era su primer día. Yesterday was his first day. El preparar or comer sus cosas desde el día anterior para no llegar tarde. It's trying to say that he prepared or he ate his things on the prior day to not be late, to not arrive late. I would say that he probably prepared his things the day before. So I would say, él había preparado sus cosas desde el día anterior para no llegar tarde. Then we have esa mañana, that morning, Luis lo oír o estar esperando en la parada de autobús. Was he hearing? Would we say he heard waiting or he was waiting? I would say he was waiting. Luis lo estaba esperando en la parada de autobús para irse juntos a trabajar. Como Andrés no llegaba, Luis lo llamó a la casa. Andrés nunca antes presentarse o entrar tarde a una cita. Would we say that he never presented himself or that he never entered late into an appointment? That one's a little bit tougher because it could be either in a sense. I would say Andrés nunca se presentó tarde a una cita. Remember, he's waiting at the bus stop. His friend Luis has not arrived yet. So he's trying to say, look, I've never showed up late for an appointment, so I'm not going to do that today. Andrés nunca antes se presentó tarde a una cita. La mamá le dijo que Andrés levantarse o acostarse hacía 10 minutos y se estaba duchando. So would the mother say that Andrés got up or went to bed 10 minutes ago? That he got up or lied down 10 minutes ago? I would say that he probably, since it's morning, since they're on their way to work, he probably just got up 10 minutes ago. So I would say la mamá le dijo que Andrés se había levantado. Remember, levantarse is reflexive to get up in the morning, levantarse. So I would say La mamá le dijo que Andrés se había levantado hacía 10 minutos y estaba duchando. Luis se fue entonces solo en autobús. He went alone on the bus. Cuando llegó a la compañía, Andrés ya estaba allí. When he arrived at the company, Andrés was already there. Now we have number 7. El correr o andar en bicicleta hasta ahí. What's the word for riding on a bicycle? Would it be correr o andar? It would be andar. So we would say, él había andado en bicicleta hasta ahí. Más tarde, Andrés le explicó que caer o querer dar una buena impresión. Would Andrés explain to him that he fell to give a good impression, or that he wanted to give? I think it would be that he had wanted to give. He had wanted to give a good impression. So más tarde, Andrés le explicó que había querido dar una buena impresión el primer día. Hope this is helpful.